Let me start with a little background. Me, 28 male, and my wife, 26 female, married 3 years ago and have been together for 6 years. When we met, I was already my third year of college for a special branch of a very productive industry, something like USA Army, or you go into a different country for a few months, do something really dangerous, jobs get paid a lot, come back a few months, and so on. In the beginning, I was going for 6, 8, or even 10 months away in order to promote as fast as possible. Now I win around 4 years of medium salary in my country in just 3 months. It is a hard job, but I love it. My wife was very supportive, and I always knew that it's very hard for her to have this kind of lifestyle. I always tried to spoil her and compensate for my time spent away from her with tons of gifts and trips to exotic places. 2 years ago, when I came home after an extended contract, I had to stay almost 2 more months because all flights and borders got shut down during COVID, but got 20% extra salary during this time. She told me she can't take it anymore. She goes crazy alone at home and she has nothing to do. She lost her job during COVID and doesn't want to work again, that which I fully support her because I wanted her to be happy and money was not a problem. I was petrified and at first I believed she wanted to break up. Then she continued with I love you so much and I want you to give me a baby so I can take care of him and have a little bit of you when you are gone on contracts. After 5 months of hard work with no woman in 100 kilometers range, trying for a baby was done fast. And multiple times just to be sure, if you know what I'm talking about. I was nervous for the first month because we always feared we may not be able to have a baby. For the first 4 years, we did not use any kind of protection and she never got pregnant, unless you consider pull out. But after a few weeks, she wakes me up with a long kiss and a smile on her face, then shows me the test result. I was the happiest man alive. Everything changed. I was a man now. I was a father. I was on top of the world. I was going with her on every doctor appointment, and during contracts, I was asking for echo sounds instead of saucy pictures. The birth had no complications, and everything went amazing. 1 month later, I go on another contract to make some money that should cover every need for our little baby. Halfway during this contract, I received a text from my wife, which shattered my life. The text was short and simple, and I would never forget the 4 words that sent me into the deepest depression I ever had. I want a divorce. I did not understand. I tried to call her to find out what happened, and nothing. After a few days of talking back and forth, she said, I want a divorce so I can marry with the love of my life. I was already preparing my suitcase because I made a request to my company to send me back as an emergency. When I got home, she and the baby were gone. 2 weeks later, I was in court to settle the divorce. During this, I found out that she had a lover for well over 4 years and she plans to marry him as soon as the divorce is done. Now, the laws in my country are different, and I knew that my first priority should be a really good lawyer. My wife has a really terrible one, so she decided to speak by herself without the help of a lawyer most of the times. Her whole idea was, I am a woman and he is never home. Well, even if the laws usually favor women in my country, cheating is considered to be a break of contract, wedding contract, and she wanted to take full custody of our children in order for me to pay child support. I was not letting this happen. I speak with my lawyer and an accountant, and it seems that I only had to pay child support for my base salary. My danger bonus is not included in child support because it's for my life risk and mine alone. And because the company pays less taxes on the danger bonus, I have a lot of them, and my base salary is around 10% of my income. When she found out that she would take almost nothing from child support, and I gave her the option of me taking full custody of the child with a no contact rule, and I will never ask her for child support, she agreed in a second. Basically, she agreed to get out of our lives. We even changed the birth certificate of the child as me the father and a blank space for the mother. She gave up any kind of claim on that baby. During the trial, her lover was asked to come as a witness, and the idiot agreed. He is an AliExpress version of Andrew Tate. An alpha male who treats women like trash, and this seems to turn her on, and has a pretty good income. He has a small company, less than half my salary, but he is always home, and it's still a lot for our country. Now, during the trial, he said they cheated behind my back for 3 years, and that the baby is his. And she tricked me to make her a baby in order not to find out about her cheating. He said all this just to make me feel horrible, I guess because this is actually kind of illegal, something like alienate the love and other law terms my lawyer explained to me. He basically said I knew they are married, but I decided to ruin the marriage. Now at this point, the child situation was already done and an agreement was signed. The judge asked my wife if it was true, and she said yes and ordered a DNA test just to confirm. After the DNA test that confirmed what they said, the judge said she will let me cancel the agreement and settle the situation again with my wife, now that the child is not biologically mine. I said, no, Your Honor, this child is mine and I want to keep him. The judge was stunned for a minute, but then she said, well, if the agreement is a valid contract and since you don't want to void it, then Mr. L, you are a father and no one can take that child away from you. In my country, it doesn't matter who is the biological parent, it matters who is the parent in the document. And since he knew he is the father since the beginning and did not come to the hospital to declare it, he automatically canceled all his paternal rights. Sounds stupid, but it makes sense in order to protect the idea of a family, and if a man recognizes a fatherless child at the hospital, he should not fear that the biological father will come back in order to protect the value of family and encourage people to do a good thing and start a family and things like that. Now the divorce was over, I got my baby and my wife was out of my life. First thing I did was hire 3 babysitters to work 8 hours a day so my child has 24/7 someone to stay with them and I have time to prepare my revenge. I started 2 separate companies with the help of an online assistant from India. You can hire them kinda cheap and they do whatever you need in online. This guy made 2 super professional companies, one industrial credits, give money to business for a lower rate than banks, and the second one was a copycat of my ex-company, but this one was in the same city as his. Both were made just for one client, my ex-wife lover. My assistant started sending tons of ads to my credit company to him, emails targeted, Google, FB ads, etc. I was sure that he knows that if he needs money, this is the place he can take a lot with low rates. Next, I made a lot of advertise on the second company, but the company had only the machines and the rented space and only one worker, the cleaning lady. Every time someone called for the company services, they got immediately declined because we are overbooked. My ex-lover, let's call him D, was one of them. Multiple times actually, and he goes mad every time he got rejected because he sees how big the competition is. Now it was time to give him the bait. Because my company had some problems in the main country, I don't even know in which country this company was registered. They changed the management and wanted to make some fast profits, so the regional manager wanted to sell some of the equipments. When he heard this, he started calling and sending emails to buy them out. The response was something like, we are an international company, we can't sell the brand, but we can sell some equipment. It was illegal to me to sell the company without showing him the accountant's data, which was empty, but equipment I could sell with just a simple contract. He wanted the competition out of his city, he did not need the equipment, so the manager gave him a deal. If you buy our equipment for let's say 3 times the price, we can say in the contract that we will not make business again in this city. In just 2 hours, I received calls and emails on my first company for credit for that equipment and blah blah. I knew he was out of money because he spent a lot on his future wedding with my ex-wife. I've sent him a contract. Based on our valuation, the equipment is not worth that money, so he will have to give us a guarantee, his company, and he is not allowed to sell any equipment or parts of his company until he pays everything back, and if he's behind payment for 6 months straight, I get all of it. Also in the contract, I stated that the credit company will buy that equipment directly. Basically, I just give myself my money, and I made sure every single word of the contract is legal and is a deal good enough for him to take. Later that same day, he sent me the signed contract. Now, normally, he should be able to pay for everything, even if the clients he hoped he will get from this company leaving are non-existent. He still should be able to pay if he gives me around 80% of his company income for the next 5 years. Fast forward a bit. In the day of the wedding, I go to give them an envelope. In my country, you give money in envelopes as wedding gift. He started to laugh at me and tell me to get out because I'm not invited and he don't need my money. I smiled and I told him to open it. He looked inside and he was expecting to come in court next week. He laughed and asked, what is this? And I told him, see you in court. Enjoy your wedding night. Next week he came. I was suing him for child support. As I said in my country, if you are aware that you have a child and refuse to go to the hospital to recognize him, you are no longer the father, but you are still forced to pay child support, and it's actually an increased rate because you tried to dodge responsibility, like running from a car accident scene. He did not want to pay, so he tried to say that he wants the child or co-custody, that he is the biological and blood and blah blah. This made me happy because I wanted to drag the trial as much as possible to drain him of all of his money, but I couldn't after the judge saw the declarations during the divorce trial. She ended the trial really fast and forced him to pay me 40% of his and his company income, since the child was born until he will finish college or I get married. And guess who did not manage to pay? And guess who's the new owner of his company? Now I don't work anymore. I just run his company and spend almost all my time with my child. Update. A lot of people ask me about the child and the fact that I am not the bio father. I answered to some comments, but I want to put this answer here so people will stop asking. I do not plan to hide my child, that I am not the bio father. As I said in a previous comment, we will talk about this when the time will come in high school, maybe around that age. Until then, I will try to be the best father and parental figure I can be. And my child decide to go to the biofather, then I will not have any objection. Deceive into bonding? I need this child more than you think. After all that happened, I don't want a relationship anymore, and I am very lonely, and being financially free, I have no purpose in life anymore. And about the statistic, yes, statistics do not lie. And I did punish paternity fraud, but I punished the idiot who did it, not the innocent child. I harass him every month if he is one day late on child support, and I have a lawyer on payday just to mess with him and scare him with another court call. I do not give a care about every man and blah blah blah. I take care of myself and my child, and other people are not my business. If you are so insecure that you think I must punish my child, someone will be scared to cheat on you, then maybe you are the problem. A Redditor comments, LMAO, the only thing that is missing is his and your ex-wife's reaction to all this. The satisfaction of them realizing how bad they messed up and got wrecked. Original poster replies, his face was priceless when he found out I was the one owning both companies and tried to sue me but had no ground, so the court declined his complaint. As for my wife, I have a restraining order, more of a no contact order, on me and my child, part of the divorce agreement. A Redditor comments, and is your ex-wife still with that guy? What is the guy's new job since he lost his company to you? The original poster replies, honestly, I'm not sure. I did not need the drama anymore. A Redditor comments, did you stick around enough at the wedding to see if her family supported her? Did she try to lie to her family about you not being a good friend? The original poster replies, the wedding was kind of small. I did not see too many familiar faces, but it was just the start of the party. I did not stay just in and out 2 minutes adventure.